Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Saffanah Ramadhania Zulfilgar with my partner Nabila Lismawati. We are from Universitas Al Azhar Indonesia and we would like to present our research paper which entitled The Reconstructed Portrayal of Feminism Through Heroine Action in Film. And the first chapter of this presentation will be presented by Nabila Lismawati. Nabila, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Saffanah. So I will begin by giving you the introduction of our research paper. In the 21st century era, the development of the film industry is growing rapidly along with the evolution of modern technology that supports the production and storage of a film. It is certain that film as one of the modern media, which is also the source for popular entertainment, has always been able to attract the attention of all people around the world, including in Indonesia. Based on the 2019 theme report, the data result for the gender composition who watch movies or TV shows via a mobile device are 50% for female and the other 50% are male. From the related data, the focus is the fact that women are equal to men having the same level of dominance as the audience of a film or television show. On the other hand, men obviously still take up the majority of lead actors, yet the figures from 2020 reveal significant development for women in the film industry compared to 2011, which only occupied 25.6% from the total 100% of females as the main character or heroine, until in 2016, the percentage has grown consistently to date. Several examples of films that carry the action or adventure genre that led by women and will be studied by the researchers in this paper, such as The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 in 2014, Wonder Woman in 2017, Ocean's 8 in 2018, and Enola Holmes in 2020. The researchers intend to study whether female lead characters, particularly in action or adventure genre films, which also known as heroines, can virtually create a portrayal of feminism. And specifically, the research question and objective of our research paper is to analyze whether the existence of films that place women as the lead characters, in particular as heroines in the action and adventure genre films, which normally play by male actors, will be able to resist the marginalization of patriarchal thinking that women are a weak second gender. And the researchers, as part of the film audience, intend to review an assumption that film can be a medium for feminism propaganda through its female lead character. Equally important, the account of the study is also to discover whether the films can re-establish the view of the spectators that women are also entitled to be equal in the film industry, either in terms of filmmaking or in terms of getting a lead role. And the next slide will be presented by my partner, Saffanah Ramadhania. For Saffanah, the time is yours.
Thank you, Nabila. And the previous slides leads to this literature review of our research paper. So we, as the researchers, uses two theories, which is the social subject of Prebrams and Gerda Lerner's patriarchy theory. According to Prebram, that the concept of spectatorship cannot be separated from the theory of the human subject and the search for what motives make them sit in front of a film or television screen and explore configurations to see themselves, the text, and the world it represents within a certain system of meaning. Prebram itself also further explained the emergent spectator of cultural studies at that point contributes two noteworthy varieties to the idea of spectatorship. Volume 1, The Creation of Patriarchy in 1986, and Volume 2, The Creation of Feminist Consciousness 1993 of Gerda Lerner, she noted that varieties of patriarchy that emerge in different socio-economic environments. In her two-volume view, she thoroughly introduced the scaffolding for the claim she has made for some time in her lectures that depriving women of their education and knowledge of their own history is at the root of women's subordination. And from the previous these two theories, we can take a look at the other literature reviews. And the next part is about results and discussions of our research paper will be presented by Nabila Lismawati. Nabila, the time is yours.
Thank you, Saffanah. So I will continue to the results and discussions of our research paper. The researchers used the 4 films that have been mentioned before as research material is because the 4 films have different types of stories from one another, and they particularly show the uniqueness of their respective female lead characters who have roles as women with equalities that provide representation space for women in real society to see themselves as more than just being a woman, and as well as trying to challenge the stigma that women may not be given ample opportunity to be seen or as become the roles played by the characters in the film. According to Hume, 1997, dictionaries of the 19th century define heroine or hero simply as a female hero who has the qualities of hero, that is illustrious, brave, courageous, noble, valiant, magnanimous, fearless, and a great warrior. They also define the heroine as the chief female character in a work of fiction. In addition, there is also an understanding of heroine according to Jane Austen in her work entitled Northanger Abbey, which is Jane Austen argued that the good women means a woman who fulfills social expectations on their gender roles. Meanwhile, the heroines means a figure who seems stronger as they often suffer but survive after all. And here is the first movie or film that we studied, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 in 2014. It is the 3rd film of a film series entitled The Hunger Games as a young adult science fiction dystopian story that written by Susan Collins. And in creating Katniss Everdeen, she said that Katniss just came to her mind by carrying a bow and arrow, so she let Katniss take over the story as a first-person point of view. And in a question and answer session, when asked by why the Hunger Games film series can be liked by both men and women, Collins answered that in making the story, she tried to make the story interesting for both genders. And therefore, through the Hunger Games, Collins wants teenagers to dare to find out the truth about the world they live in and think in a larger perspective. That is the motive, the main motive from Susan Collins in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. However, in making the Hunger Games film series, especially the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, she did not have any intention of specifically making Katniss Everdeen a heroine as a form of feminist propaganda. On the other hand, although Susan Collins did not intentionally make Katniss Everdeen a feminist character in the film, critics and audiences assume that the character has a strong sense of feminism, with her role stronger than her opposite gender characters in the film, namely Peeta Mellark and Gale Hawthorne. Particularly, the storyline in the Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1, which also shows Katniss Everdeen becoming a symbol of rebellion and the driving force of the people's movement to destroy the power of the Capitol led by President Snow. Moreover, the rebellion movement was also fully supported by President Al McQueen, who is also a strong female character as president of District 13 and the leader of the second rebellion against the Capitol. And here are some reviews from critics and audiences regarding the side of feminism shown in Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 as follows. On to the next one, Wonder Woman in 2017. Through various interviews, Jenkins has repeatedly stated that the films she directs are not only made to be seen from the side of its femininity. Jenkins wants the audience to get used to seeing the lead character of a film is a woman or heroine and perceive the character does not based on gender but entirely as a human being. Jenkins also stated that her intention through the character of Wonder Woman was to present a hero who believes in love, who is filled with love, who believes in change, and who believes in the good of mankind. The main motive is to give a message that in the world filled with hatred and violence, as well as in a world dominated by men, people need to be aware in becoming heroes for themselves by spreading love and peace. However, Wonder Woman has the message to people in the world just like women. Heroes also have the right to show their emotions, where these emotions are not a form of vulnerability, but are a form of strength. Along with its feminist character, Wonder Woman becomes a film that can be used as a medium for female representation. And the critics and audiences review the film as follows. And for the remaining movies that we studied, will be presented or explained by my partner, Saffanah. For Saffanah, the time is yours.
Thank you, Nabila. So Ocean's 8 is a 2018 film that with heist comedy genre directed by Gary Rose and written by Ross and Olivia Milch. On the interview with Slash Film, Gary Ross directly said that he wanted to make a collaboration of Ocean's 8 with Olivia Milch as the co-writer, as a movie that is different from the rest of the heist genre in film production. It started from Ross's idea to make a diverse visualization of women through crime action scenes. There are total 8 women in this film who are not married, just watch and sat quietly while the robbery plan is in progress, yet each of them had a major role to play in the success of the robbery. The co-writer and co-producer Olivia Milch herself stated that that not only men can do what he wants and can be what he wants, but women can also do that too. Ultimately, the sense of the joke in Ocean's 8 is the male characters who underestimate the woman rather than the women themselves, who work together toward a shared goal, which is jewel, all without petty discretions. And through several interviews about Ocean's 8 with the director and co-writer showed that the spectators that women do not have to use their power physically to succeed in their theft plan, but use logic, intelligence, and sense. All the women in characters in Ocean's 8 didn't use knife or semi-automatic pistol to demonstrate power or to advance their master plan. And in order to prove that Ocean's 8 could change the spectator's viewpoint on women through feminists in a film, these reviews on media platform will give some of statements. And it led us to the last film of our research paper that we studied. It is Enola Holmes. It is a film, the newest film on Netflix, which is directed by Harry Bradbeer and written by Jack Thorne in 2020, based on the young adult fiction genre series of the Enola Holmes mysteries by Nancy Springer. Harry Bradbeer, the director itself, and Fleabag open up to the public about the parallel storyline between Enola Holmes and Fleabag, his previous masterpiece in film production, at a Zoom interview. The parallel plot between two female characters, Fleabag and Enola Holmes itself, which Harry drew, stated that the younger feminist audiences will feel represented in the film, and it is similar to Fleabag. Harry Bradbeer believes that the film has given him a new perspective on feminist art, as he said on the interview below. This gave us an opportunity to look at feminism in its early days, because female suffrage was beginning from the 1840s to the 1880s. According to Harry Bradbeer, the character of Enola Holmes often breaks through the fourth walls, where the wall is the boundary between the fictional or fantasy world in a film with the real world, which contains the audience who enjoys the film. The word that is suitable to describe the character of Enola Holmes is alone. The protagonist who tells the audiences that even women can independently use their intelligence, curiosity, and courage as shields, as weapons to survive in this world. To prove the statement of the director of Enola Holmes, we stated that the film uses a technique that could take the audiences to go on a journey with Enola. These are the reviews and critics from some spectators in media platform as follows. And it led us to the last slide of today's presentation. We can conclude that only 2 of the 4 films studied, namely Ocean's 8 and Enola Holmes, that were specifically made by the directors with intention of feminism propaganda. Therefore, provide a medium for female spectatorship to be able to see representations of themselves in the cinema who are strong, brave, and challenge the patriarchal views in the society through their female characters. For female spectators, they stated that the 4 films have challenged the patriarchal view in a society that depicts women as only having to stay in the household, made aware that women also have the choice to determine their own will. Besides that, for male spectators, they admit that the 4 films have relatively changed their point of view towards women. And this can be proven through reviews from the audiences in each film. That film can ultimately be a medium to reconstruct the society's view of women who are required to follow social expectations, or in particular the patriarchal perspective put forward by the learner. In this way, if they draw previous theory of the subject is applied, the spectator as a social subject converges with the heroine as a textual subject. An exchange of meaning is made by the film. Eventually, spectator will be able to resist the marginalization of patriarchal thinking that women are a powerless gender that should be bound by traditional social expectations, and reestablish the view that women are strong, brave, and important that deserve to be appreciated and respected. And it led us to the last part of our presentation. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.